right.
Here we are. It is Team UK and Spain, Netherlands as we commence this next round here. It looks like we are Spain, Netherlands going first, winning that coin flip and is playing
that is
Snake Eye.
a very unconventional opener, though, because we've opened Divine Temple and Original Sinful Spoils. Not a typical way to start your combos, honestly, because it also just means you don't have a target for Poplar.
Well,
in most normal lists, at least.
Yeah, I see what you mean. If it works, it works, because it doesn't look like Team UK has opened any disruption here, and I'll be curious to know if there ever was a team in this matchup to bring out something that isn't the Snake Eye deck, it would be Team UK here. So we'll see if Branded is going to be played.
They might not even have Snake Eyes. We don't know.
Yeah, so I want to say that this is a different deck, right? Because I believe they played 42.
I think you said 42. So the question is now,
they're on 41.
Did you miscount last time? Or
No, I'm pretty sure I didn't miscount unless they brought 2 branded lists. Maybe I don't know, is that a thing?
This is unironically something that we took into account for the World Championships. Is we wanted our decks to all have the same number of cards to make it impossible for our opponent to tell whether we switched or not when they were going.
What was the magic number?
40.
Was it 40? Okay. Even Dragon Link?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the Dragon Link was one of my decks.
Oh, that's a cool card.
That's one of my favorite cards ever.
Do you think it's a bit early?
Well,
first and foremost, let's first inform everyone what Phantasme does, because it might be a while for some people.
Everyone remembers what Phantasme does because it's the best card ever made.
True, okay, right.
Now, when your opponent specials a Link monster, you get to summon it and draw cards equal to the number of Link monsters your opponent currently controls, +1. So in this case, 2 cards. You don't get to keep all of them. You have to toss back a number of cards equal to the number of Link monsters they have. So if they have 1 Link monster, you draw 2, shuffle back 1.
Yeah, it's just a cool way to fix your hand. But the reason I was asking if you think they used it a bit early is you can actually get more value out of it, right?
Yeah, no, the Snake Eye deck is one that can, depending on how they structure their lines, you can often catch them with 2 Link monsters on the field, and then the Phantasme draws 3, puts back 2. It's the same amount of card advantage, but obviously fixing your hand is always nice. The more cards you see, the more decisions you have. Maybe they just want to pick up a hand trap, though. I think in specifically Master Duel, where Maxi is a thing,
yeah,
just getting that extra, like, because there's nothing worse than like doing it towards the end of your opponent's combo,
and then you see
then you draw the Maxi, and we're like, oh well, I could have drawn that like 10 summons ago. They didn't draw it anyways, but the Phantasme is cool because it also just is a pretty sizable body, honestly. Like something like IP Masquerena, you can just force without using your normal summon.
And regardless, it's still like a good guy to have on the field here because it also offers that target protection, right?
You can protect yourself from targeting. You can attack over some things. It can be a link material to go into Dark because it's a dark monster, or you can go into Hida with any sort of fire monster. It's pretty good, I think. It's a pretty good thing to have right now.
It's a great multi-purpose card, and we'll see if it's been picking up in the TCG, right? Because I haven't seen it that much, actually. In fact, any of the lists I've looked at, I don't think I've seen it yet in TCG, so...
I've played it.
You have?
I have.
You are a man of Phantasme, that's true.
Yeah. I just like... it's just whenever that card is any sort of... resembles any sort of playability, I always go and try and fit it into my decks because I like it so much.
Yeah, no, the counter to Link monsters in a sense, and the digging of the digging deep into the hand into the deck is really important, especially for that Maxi. But yeah, Maxi is like a card which I would argue is like not even bad to top deck sometimes, right? Especially against like Snake Eyes, which still special summon a lot.
Oh yeah,
on your turn,
Maxi
right?
on your turn, you can still get like 4.
Yeah, I mean the dream is Maxi draw Maxi, so you have 1 for their turn, 1 for your turn. Okay. Must be nice.
What kind of dream is that though?
The Master Duel dream. All right, scaling the Masquerena here and keeping the Flamberge on the field.
Okay, we need to clarify. Is scaling the word we're going to use for this mechanic?
See, I don't know. I've just gone with that because it's nice and simple, right? I guess there isn't really an official way to describe this, is there?
Placing is what I use.
Placing, you think?
Placing the Masquerena.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, I can place your cards in the graveyards, right? Like,
yeah,
and then take the win. Like, if we want to go with that. 1 set card from Spain, Netherlands here. Let's see if the UK.
And this is despite not interrupting them per se, because the Phantasme obviously doesn't stop them from doing anything. This seems like a more manageable situation than what we saw previously, and I'll say that much. If we can see a cool game after seeing Baron and Savage being opened. I can only imagine what we can see here when those cards are not there, right? I think there's a lot of potential gameplay happening. But I don't think this can be branded, though. Would you really be... I mean, yeah, I don't think you would bring a branded deck with Phantasme to this event.
Question, does Ash Blossom target branded fusion? Then we could discard Phantasme to protect it, but that's about the only usage here.
It is Snake Eye. It is Snake Eye.
All right.
This might actually be live.
Here we are with the table of Team UK.
1, 2, 3, 4. It is on Princess back, yeah.
So I think they were just counting up the summons for Nibiru, I believe, right?
We can take a fun dash here.
Yep.
So they're choosing to scale Flamberge here.
And this is the situation that I talked about earlier, where it's like two temples staring down each other.
I think it's just this. We're not threatening any monsters out right now.
Yeah, I think so.
Or we can start with this. We can go this, pitch this.
Still using code
Threaten
words
to
of
get
this and this.
I mean, it's faster, I assume. But
No.
it's bad for us because they're not naming the cards.
I think we get the ones like ASAP.
That's a
It was getting
big
second.
start here.
Always like sack that off and then reborn.
If we need to, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So key differences here from what we saw from Team Germany. Remember, Team Germany scaled the Oak going second. And going second with a temple up usually gives you that utility of you get to choose what you want to summon on your opponent's turn when they inevitably have to bring out that Princess or Masquerena.
Yeah.
And I
Yes,
think
Floyd.
that Flamberge, do you think that's like a good choice here going second?
This is going to
Because I feel
extend
like it's
and
kind of
get
risks
the-
might not actually
but
being able to
one, but
trigger
what
yet.
The stand doesn't even help us here.
I think if you have a normal summon
So
of
I'm
Ash, then
unironically
you're okay to do it.
thinking to
Because
get the
remember,
Jet, 'cause you
Team
can discard
Germany
the
didn't
Jet
have
with
that. They normal
the-
summoned Jet Synchron. They kind of needed
Actually, I
the
won't
Oak
extend
to
that.
get into
I won't extend
the
that.
Snake Eye stuff.
Yeah, I'll extend it.
Now, is there a Maxi from Spain, Netherlands?
Wow. Huge.
We have Cobra.
Oh!
Ooh, spoilers.
Spoilers! No choice there. You gotta stop that Maxi. Alright. There it is. Called by Resolves. So yeah, the Maxi, as mentioned, huge part of the gameplay for this format. You're always going to be seeing that card in every single deck list. Do you think Snake Eye has any like lines that play okay under it? Right, like there isn't really anything you can just sort of do when you get Maxied on like the Poplar reveal, for example.
Yeah, this is where I really like the trap card, the Sinful Spell trap card, Silvera, where you can just go, if you get Maxied, you can either just special Diabell Star for one special summon and have the trap card, which represents a negate, or you can go for Poplar, searching the Snake Eye Chase, which in turn gets you 2 Diabell Star into the trap card. So you can access it either via Diabell Star or via Poplar, which means you can basically both engines get you through that card. And it's a low, yeah, it's like low effort, not that many special summons for at least some interruption.
Yeah, no, that's a fair and reasonable point. Are you surprised we haven't seen any Super Heavy? Because looking at the deck list now,
No.
we've seen all the players. We haven't seen their secondary decks, but we haven't seen anyone.
I mean, for some
playing
of them
Super
we
Heavy.
have. For UK, we now know is Snake Eye branded. For France, we know.
Yeah, that's
it's
what I'm saying. So no
Snake
one's
Eye.
playing
Yeah.
Super Heavy. So
I mean, I honestly, from my perspective, I am not surprised because I think Super Heavy is a strong deck, and of course the ability to play so many sort of like monster disruptions for your opponent's first turns, that sort of thing, is good. However, whenever I'm playing Super Heavy Samurai in Master Duel, I feel like it's super shaky, because you are locked into only playing monsters pretty much. So you don't even get that Called by the Grave crossout access to stop your opponent's Droneland Lockbirds or Maxis. And it just feels like it just feels so gambly almost, that deck. On a competitive scale, I'm not a huge fan of it, and I'm not surprised that our teams are leaning more towards the Snake Eye deck, which is similarly powerful, but like less vulnerable to those specific cards, I think.
I would have thought that potentially Quanta would be a big fan of Vanadium as a secondary choice, potentially.
Well, we haven't seen their second deck yet.
That's true, yeah. They have actually just rolled out Snake Eye primarily. Actually, I think I know what Quanta's playing.
Oh, really?
I think it's the same deck from Worlds, right? I think it might be Striker.
Really?
I think so. I could be wrong. We'll see if it actually comes up.
I mean, Quanta just played Striker at Worlds twice, too. Like, we went into that with saying, like, we're probably never going to use that second deck, and then suddenly he just sits there and he's like, I want to play Striker next game.
Did it go well?
He won one and lost one. So
Okay,
technically,
alright.
for Striker standards, yeah, exceptionally well.
Good 50-50 ratio there. So we've triggered our field spell here. We've brought out Masquerena on the summon of Hita, and now on the resolution, we want to use the Masquerena to link away first before we get into our princess plays.
Yeah, that's the one thing. You always need to do this first, because after the princess is used, you are locked out of these sort of interactions.
Now, key point to remember here as well is the Phantasme protection is still online, so anything that Masquerena gets into, I feel like can just be denied and traded with a Phantasme, right? Although you can't. Whoa, okay.
Oh, I was not expecting that. I was about to say, if they use the Flamberge as another link material, they can make it so that it's like Chainlink 1, Nightmare Unicorn, Chainlink 2, Flamberge.
Yeah.
Royal Goddess. Okay, that's the reason why they're playing Goddess. I'm calling
makes
it.
sense, makes sense.
But they have played into Team UK's Divine Temple, bringing out the Flamberge.
That's going to be a big chain formed here as both players have many triggers and a
yep.
lot to revive and bring back here. This is going to get really technical really quickly here. Negate the effects of all face-up monsters, non-targeting, and now we get...
Phantasme is off the board then. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still there, but it cannot negate any sort of targeting from now.
It's a really cool choice there to go for the Underworld Goddess, and I think this is where maybe Mastodon gets to show the showcase, right? Because I don't think you have the space.
You
for
just
this
don't. Yeah,
in
you don't have
TCG.
the room. Like you do not have the room to play Goddess. You could if you really wanted to, but realistically, you're not gonna see it.
Yep, so working out really nicely here. Hita, kind of annoying to deal with because generally you might have a big risk of triggering that search. You mentioned the Unicorn chain block would be really strong because it gets to protect from Phantasme using the Flamberges too. But hey, I guess just getting rid of it completely works out well too, right? And all of these bodies get to float here. I mean,
like
look
the
at
thing
this.
is, like Team UK still has 4 cards in hand. Team Spain Netherlands is generating a lot of cards here, a lot of follow-up for the next turn. But they do need to get through this turn.
Yeah,
And their board is like, I mean, they have a
we
Goddess
steal their
still?
Poplar.
Ooh,
So that
listen.
their original
Let's
cancel
listen in
Poplar.
on Spain, Netherlands.
Okay. I mean, there's no other point because there's nothing else that they. Because the thing is, actually, we can hold. We can
We
instead.
can hold and we force with the Promethean.
It's interesting to see. Now we're hearing from the sort of defensive player's perspective right now. We're not seeing UK planning out their turn. We're seeing Spain, Netherlands discussing the use of their interruptions.
Do we have anything left? It's just Princess, right?
It's Promethean Princess. I don't know what the set card is. I don't think they have shown us.
And they didn't discuss it either, so
Yeah.
we'll see if that actually is relevant. If it's a targeting card, it's good
The
now.
only thing we know it's not, I'm pretty sure, it's not a crossout designator because they would have stopped the called by on their maxi, I'm pretty sure. So I guess it's most likely for it to be, I think it's likely an impermanence, and they haven't used it yet because the Phantasme was always live. It could have negated it. Now that the Phantasme is negated by the Goddess, that impermanence could be used.
Whoa!
That is the funniest Nibiru I think I've seen ever.
That's incredible. And this is something that happens quite relatively frequently, I think, in the Snake Eye mirror match. Oh wow, yeah, the Underworld Goddess is still going to stay on the
Unaffected
field
because
here.
it's only affected by cards that target it.
Yeah, we're not targeting to tribute here. Yeah, so this happens quite often, right? Because like you special summon a lot on your turn.
Yeah.
So Nibiru triggering.
They just Nibiru themselves. Nibiru yourself now. I wonder if they remembered that the Goddess would stay, because that graveyard, the the ability to negate a card that would revive from the graveyard, they have to play around that. That can negate
Yeah,
Flamberge.
so I think what they want to do here is they want to summon something off of the original and then make that Chain Link 2 and the Flamberge Chain Link 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that hopefully, like,
But
they
then-
should have something to trigger.
Then
off of
again,
this.
if it's Snake Eye Oak, that also summons from the grave. Like that can also be negated by a princess, by goddess.
Yeah, I guess like triggering Flamberge is better. Well, I mean, I guess it's just the same number of bodies.
Yeah.
But I guess like regardless, they will have something, so that's important.
And there's the Oak, and here if they want to go chaining 1 Flamberge, chaining 2 Oak, but the goddess can stop the Oak. I believe unless you would target a banished one, but they don't have one to avoid
nothing
that.
banished.
Yeah.
Jet Synchron would have been
And
ideal here, but
the thing is, they still had
oh
to.
wow, okay. So they actually are opting to scale with their own Poplar instead of negating with the with the Underworld Goddess.
And you know why? Because the Nibiru made it so that they don't have a fire monster anymore. So it turns off their princess in the graveyard. And them placing something into the spell and trap zone now makes it so that their own temple can summon that out. They have not used that effect yet. So here, Poplar is going to be scaled or placed. You got me with the scale. Now I'm using it. I don't like it. So they're going to place a fire monster into the spell and trap zone. The Team UK is going to summon. Temple is then going to bring out the whatever they put into the spell and trap zone now. And then they have a fire monster for Promethean Princess. So a lot of back and forth. And here...
Which confuses me as to why we're using the Link Karibo here, because this was always just going to be negated by the Underworld Goddess, no?
Yeah, that's curious.
Oh, they're scaling Flam... I guess it doesn't really matter. Right, I guess it's fine.
Yeah, as long as it's any fire monster that
Yeah.
will be able to... You trigger your princess on it.
But this is still pretty big, right? Because we're going to have 4 bodies total, including the Nibiru, and we haven't gone through Princess yet. The opponent's field spell triggers. Spain Netherlands gets to summon the Flamberge,
This is
turning
where-
on that
yeah,
Princess.
this is where the fire monster comes into effect.
All right, and now the question is, what type of Link plays are we going for on the UK
Oh,
side?
I know why they used the Link Karibo. They didn't have enough level 1 fires. They had 2 level 1 fires in the graveyard.
Ah, right, to
Oak-
put a target
Oak-
in for Flamberge?
Yeah, no. So Flamberge needs to put 2 back, but Oak was used to chain block the Flamberge and bring back one of them. So they start with 2 level 1 fires, chain link 1 Flamberge, chain link 2 Oak. Oak brings out one of the level 1 fires. There's not enough left for the Flamberge to revive 2, so they had to put
On
the Oak
resolution,
itself.
they have to put it in, yeah.
They had to put the Oak itself into the graveyard. So actually, smart play there.
Yeah, making sure, because again, like that Flamberge, the weakness of that supposedly is the play where you don't get to bring back
Oh,
up
the
to 2.
co-linked Phoenix
huge.
on the Underworld Goddess.
And the last back row as well gets to be hit here, and we'll see if it's something relevant, because this is
It's
the
that
last
I'm
opportunity.
calling it. It's that impermanence.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't feel like there was anywhere really good to use Imperm so far, so this would have to be it. And
It's impermanence, and they are now thinking about whether they want to use their Promethean Princess on this Phoenix.
yeah, I guess like
They are.
making sure that it's
It's 2 link materials that you get rid of with 1 card. I think it's valuable because it makes it so at the moment there's not enough link material to get the to get their own Promethean Princess.
What is that?
Well, I was wrong. It was
a-
just a bluff. Okay, well, nicely done.
Okay.
Oh, do you still get the draw?
With Nightmare Phoenix, yeah, it just
Because it's
matters
on
if it was
activation?
co-linked on activation, yeah.
All right, okay. Well, I mean, something like a top deck talents here would be crazy.
We have the ability to listen in with Team UK and see how they would plan out the rest of this turn.
I go wanted search first, then get another drawback.
Mm.
'Cause it means we can still set from deck. The reason my fuck up was bad was because I had to go for Oak to chain block, and I couldn't go for the Jet Synchron.
Okay, bringing up the fact that they were not able to use Jet Synchron yet.
Yeah, we
which
go
would
for this
be-
now. We want to get set from deck.
A good discard here would be massive.
This turn has been a while. Have we used Diabellstar yet? I don't think we have.
Nope, we have not. So for Diabellstar, I mean, if we have any other targets,
But we've used the spell.
if we have Subversion,
Right now? Really?
Okay, I think that was a Max C they just drew, right?
It
Must be.
It could be. It could very well be a Maxi or something like a Called by the Grave. Something that would have been very nice earlier.
Yeah. Bell for Bell. And this is the set here. Let's see if they do play that Subversion. Because it's going to be quite annoying to out the Underworld Goddess.
Yeah.
Because you can only target it. And it's indestructible, remember?
Yeah, it's like a
also
Nightmare
after
Unicorn situation, probably.
Back, that's not fine.
And here, the fact that they negated the Link Reborn.
Okay.
Oh, they played a trap. I like that.
Silvera.
I can oak summon send it out. Special Jet. Then go Jet plus I'll start into Dark. At least he's an extra extender.
Where's
It
Jet?
means we
Is
have an
Jet in the
extender.
graveyard?
Nope.
We
How are
need
we
an extender right
accessing
now.
Jet then?
You can't get Jet.
It cannot get Jet. Yeah, I think they thought Oak can tag out into Jet.
Yeah, Fire Monster, right?
No, it's just a Snake
Surely.
Eye. The Snake Eyes only tag out into Snake Eyes. Yeah.
So Flamberge is already resolved, and this is just being used as a real.
It hasn't used its
body, I
first
suppose.
effect yet. It can still use the one
Yeah,
where
it
you
does.
scale something. Place.
I will convert you to the scalers.
Oh no, I don't want to be a scaler.
Yeah.
What do we place here?
Because we can go.
Oak
We
could
can
be
access code the
strong.
rest
I'm
of the board.
assuming you need to worry about getting rid of your opponent's monsters with it. Like you can
Could be,
place
yeah.
something like a Promethean Princess back there or the Goddess.
Yeah, it goes for the goddess.
The cool thing is you can summon that Goddess to your field and then use the Goddess to check the Princess on the board.
How
right?
are we summoning back the goddess?
Flamberge. Flamberge has a quick effect on the opponent's turn to bring out any.
Oh right, I thought it was like the field spither.
They
okay.
both do that,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
the Flamberge is the one that.
So this is really good because you get to target Masquerena. So this is a Link 4.
Mm.
And that means we get, I think, like 3 pops here.
There is
see, what do we
a
have? We got
fire from
Fire
Phoenix.
Dark.
It's only Fire Dark, I think.
Fire
That's
Dark,
always
okay.
the issue. That's always the problem.
Will we
It-
see Celine, I guess?
Yeah, Celine is
the
where
third material?
Celine is the bridge for these sort of situations if you do run it. That's like the main reason to do it. Because they don't need the extra link material. They already are at 4. They just would like to go through an extra attribute here.
Yeah. The third destruction effect would be really good because then you get to clear everything.
Yep. Get rid of the token, the Promethean, and the temple would be really nice.
I don't know if it's because it's the new Blue Eyes Chaos Max bundle now available in Masadu. But I'm not seeing the trigger, like the passing of the priorities on the glow. On whose priority it is.
Right. That is... I haven't noticed that.
Yeah, because I've been trying to track like where they're passing priority and detecting the interruption, but
Is that a spectator mode?
maybe?
Specialty? Or is it like just on this sort of board?
I'm not sure. But anyway, they are deciding what to do with this this link material now. Are we gonna go straight into access? I don't think we've used Princess yet, I suppose. Yep, so they might be considering a Princess line too. It is
There
Celine,
is
okay,
Celine,
great.
But that was the point. Like they had to decide between Princess or Access Code, because the 2 Link 2s can go into Princess, but a Link 3 and another monster cannot. Like Celine plus the Diabellstar cannot go into Promethean Princess. So they had to make that decision before summoning the Celine. And by going with the Celine, they're basically saying, hey, we're going to go for an Access Code talker. If they had access to one more body here, it would be really huge for them because they could keep the Diabellstar around, because the trap card sadly only works if you have Diabellstar on the field.
Yeah, so ending on full destruction and the negate would be massive.
That'd be massive, but as of now,
Yeah.
it's just going to be... I'm saying just, but like the fact that they full cleared this board is impressive regardless. And I mean, we heard Jess complain about say well, we draw this card now earlier, right? What if it's a backup Maxi?
I mean, that would be really strong, I think, right? Because you do get to full clear and then you pressure your opponent into basically OTKing and getting rid of your field here. Alright, so clearing everything, and Battle Phase gets to deal some damage, and now we get to, yeah, I suppose sit on what is potentially a Maxi drawn here as we pass turn.
That's like the one thing they would really want here, is if that's a Maxi. However, I mean, we also still need to see from Spain, Netherlands how they want to approach the situation, because I mean, I assume they have enough follow-up to play on this turn. However,
They've got good follow-up. The question
they
is...
definitely have the Sinful Spoil original in the graveyard to be able to search another level 1 monster. So it's not a question of whether they can play this turn. It's just a question of what has Team UK drawn to maybe have a say in what they can do.
Ash is our starter of choice here, and that grabs Poplar, and this is where the reveal happens.
This is where I think we
Do
need
we
to
have
see
it?
an insect-type monster being activated.
Wow,
No.
okay. What was it then?
Wait,
Maybe
no, it was called by the grave, though.
Maybe it was a call by?
No, it was called by... The Maxi was called by the graves last turn.
Aha. Right. You're right.
So
Yeah, it is banished
even if
right now.
that would actually make it worth
Terrible.
complaining about.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one time you don't want to draw it.
Yep.
Ooh, this is rough. So the only thing you need to worry about now is, yeah, can we just have to clear, right?
I mean, if the card in hand is nothing, for Team UK and nothing of relevance for this turn, then it shouldn't be the hardest task for Team Spain Netherlands, because like the access code talker doesn't pose any sort of disruption. We know what the back row is. We know it is the Sinful Spoils of Silvera, or Sinful Spoils of something. I don't know, Sinful Spoils of something Silvera, and that only works if you have Diabellstar on the field, which means that essentially no disruptions coming from Team UK for this turn. Using the Underworld Goddess in the Spell and Trap Zone as fodder for the Snake Eye Ash is also
That's very funny.
Yeah.
We got Flamberge. That gets the revive as well. Do we have Oak in the grave? Yeah, we do. So much mid-link material is going to come out here.
Yeah.
I suppose the play at this point is basically toggle off until you hit 5 summons, and then you put them in a thinking position, I
In the
suppose.
Biru.
Yeah. But again, yeah, I don't know if you can see toggles, because I'm not seeing them on this field. Could be a spectator thing, but you know, it is part of the. Did you use that much at the World Championship? Paying attention to the toggling?
You try. It's sometimes it's a little too much, like trying to pay attention to everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when you open something like Maxi and you know you want to use it at a very specific point, you just hold the right. I was using the option.
Switch and hold.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a big fan of switch and hold. All right. Do we still have Hita in our arsenal here?
They
Yep,
do. They do. Yep. Team UK used it because they went second, but we're using the Flamberge to just casually push the access code talker back into the spell and trap zone.
Pushing. Okay, that's a new term.
Yep. I use pushing when I find it.
It's more disrespectful.
I find it fitting when you use it on your opponent's monsters on the field.
Yeah.
Because you are like it also makes sense because it would be physically like a pushing motion, right? You moving it.
So, 8,000 damage with just 4 materials. Can we find it? This last card in hand, I mean, yeah.
I mean, we can definitely find 8,000. The question is, can we do it in... I don't think we can do it in less than 5 summons.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem, right? Like, do you even care? Are you worried? Like, you just have to go for it,
I mean,
right?
you go for it, because, like, I mean, looking at the state here... Ooh, Phantasme. Okay. All right.
So...
Okay, question. If they draw Maxi here, do they remember?
I think so
or
much...
do they keep it?
So much has happened, I think they forget.
I forgot about it because of how long the turn was.
Yeah.
It was like the very first thing. It's almost like there's this one spell card, I think it's called Question, that just says like you
What
have
is
to
the bottom
guess.
card
Yeah,
of your
what's the
grave?
bottom? Because that's how long it's been. That's almost like the first thing that happened on the last turn.
Yeah, I mean, that's technically why you shouldn't be playing around with your graveyard too much.
Yeah, so essentially what they're saying is like, do you remember what the first card was that your opponent played last turn?
And it's in defense mode. We have targeting protection. I guess that's kind of relevant. So even if it's a dud in the hand, like, we still have that. I was gonna mention the access code talker. Maybe they'd forget that it's immune to destruction, but you know, Flamberge is just such good disruption.
It's such a diverse way of... The deck has so many ways to clear monsters.
I don't think there's anything it really struggles with, right? Like maybe unaffected monsters, right? Like a Boral end.
Fully unaffected would be a problem. You still have a way to run over it, and we saw from them that they are also using the Underworld Goddess, so that's another option you have.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, I suppose, for this deck to...
Underworld Goddess in general, just the existence of that card, if you have the room in the extra deck, just makes it so that any deck that has access to enough link... Oh!
Wow, okay. That's huge. All right, we may have potentially clawed our way back into this game here. That Nibiru is really, really good here because I don't think we have a way to trigger Flamberge's second. In fact, did we use Flamberge?
We already used it.
We already have,
used it.
So,
Yeah,
so there's
they
basically
already used it.
nothing left here.
The only thing that makes me worried about Team UK at the moment is that do they have the Sinful Spoil in the graveyard? The original
I
Sinful Spoil?
think they do, yeah.
They do have follow-up.
So, more back and forths here. That's a tiny Nibiru
Okay,
token.
set pass.
Nothing else from Team Spain Netherlands.
400 defense.
No
Pathetic.
magician souls or anything to push through this. A measly 400 defense standing in the way here. This Nibiru is, yeah,
Look at their life points too. 2,700.
Yeah, direct attack on Nibiru wins this. Do we just have anything? I mean, we do. We
I
can.
mean,
just,
I'm judging from where they set that card. I'm thinking
Has
it's
to
an
be imperm.
impermanence. But if you go like normal summon Snake Eye Ash and it gets impermed, that Snake Eye Ash attacks over the Nibiru token.
yeah, you're fine with that.
Yeah, it attacks over the Nibiru token. The Nibiru goes in directly. And
I don't.
how did this happen? How did we get there? How did we complain about top
Because we
decking the
nipped
Phantasm?
twice, I guess, right?
Well, but one was on our own turn. I feel like that
Yeah.
doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
If you summon 5 times on your opponent's turn, you deserve to get nibbed. I'm
I
saying
mean,
it right now.
is there any way to like play around that? So like you get like one off of mask into the.
So what
into
you
the-
have, there's a minimum of what you have to do. You have to summon from your spell and trap zone with the Flamberge to get out the Masquerena.
That's one.
You have to link with the Masquerena, because otherwise why would you
Yeah,
summon it? So
that's-
that's 2. The Flamberge has to bring back 2, so that's 4.
And then Princess
And
is
Princess
5.
is always the 5th. So like,
You could
yeah.
just choose to not use Flamberge if you're that scared, potentially.
I suppose you could, yeah.
That would be the only other thing you could do, I suppose, realistically.
Yeah.
All right, so we just have to keep this nice and steady. A counter Nibiru would be very unfortunate, so we do have game on the field right now.
I would be surprised if they played into the beer here. You don't need to risk that here. I don't
Are
think.
we just going to go battle phase? Is the UK going to come out on top and go 2-0 here?
This would be crazy, by the way. The last 2 Snake Eye Mirror matches we've seen, yeah, and we go, okay.
Battle phase,
What
400
is
defense.
that set card? Does it save them here? Why is this token only 400 defense? How is it so weak?
We only used Link monsters and something else, so attack directly, win Nibiru. Does it clutch it out? There's a delay here. Something's happening.
No.
No! 3,000 directly. Spain, Netherlands faltering, and Team UK
Oh,
coming
God.
out on top. What a game!
That was very, very cool.
Right.
That was very cool. I enjoyed that a lot. The Snake Eye Mirror matches have been something else, and this is why I personally do enjoy this deck, even though it is very strong, undoubtedly, and it is definitely a lift in power level on what we already have in the game at the moment. It's definitely very powerful, so that is, you can't really deny that. But at the same time, I think the interactions, especially between specifically 2 Snake Eye decks, are really, really fun to watch and play yourself as well.
Yeah, I mean, like we saw in the last game, it was such an incredible good back and forth. In this game, more back and forth interactions, double Nibiru coming down on
Double
both
Phantasme.
turns, double Phantasme. You know, there's so many cool cards that are like interactive in this matchup here, and you know, I guess that's one of the exciting things of the deck. So
Yeah, and I think we saw part of UK's strategy going into this tournament, because I think the Phantasme Nibiru sort of combination in their Snake Eye deck is clearly saying like, we want to play this against other Snake Eyes. So in the round 1, they queued Branded into when they didn't know what to expect. But now they brought the Snake Eye deck for the mirror match, and it worked out. And let's hear from the winners of this round as to what their thought process was going through this match.
take it away, Ed.
I mean, 2 Nibirus and 2 Phantasmes. So forget the Nibirus. Talk to us about Phantasme, because that's quite an unusual choice. Why?
So Phantasme for the Snake Eye mirror match. Because Phantasmes, we saw turn 1, they couldn't really remove that Phantasme. And the idea is we want to draw into our either power cards, like more engine, or the Nibiru.
The Nibiru, I mean, when the first one came down, I thought, okay, yeah, fair enough. But then 2. I don't think I've ever seen 2 Nibirus in one duel. But then again, I'm not a European champion or a Invitational champion. So at this point, you've had, that was your second win or third win?
That was the second.
Second. Okay, so you still feeling confident at this point?
At this point, yeah. I think we've got the scary matchups. You know, we're doing all right. We're doing all right.
Okay, so hang on. How many more have we got? We're about to go into game 6, so there's then 4 after that, and then we'll see who's at the top after that. But I think you guys are currently doing some of the best.
Hopefully.
Okay, that's all we need is you guys carry on. But well done, great job. maybe we'll see more Nibirus and Phantasmes in the next one, but who knows? Best of luck in the next duel.